Okay, again, this is just the finished part with some texture. And then here's just a close-up again of that nail, trying to show you just the thinness of the aluminum, some of the coloring and the textures that you can apply on this. And as you look at the drawing, trying to apply your drawing to the computer and your computer to your drawing back and forth. So here's just this cone shape. There's a little bit of the nail vertically. So just taking the pen tool, just taking the fill off, so it's just a stroke coming down. I could make the curve, I just wanted to show you another way to make a curve with the direct selection tool using the widget to curve it up there. And down below in the pen tool, you have the anchor point tool that you can adjust the curves with. And then here just showing the parts that have the texture, taking the direct selection, moving each point in, make that go in a little bit. You can do some of the widgets or go back to the anchor point tool so you can modify that. Give it just a tone, give the stroke color, and then just kind of move it into place. Here I'll just make it a thinner stroke. Just move it up and option and expand it a little bit. Use the eyedrop tool just to fill that same texture and just option to copy it and command D to duplicate it down. Stretch the bottom so you kind of have a simulated look for what that section looks like. This circle part, not difficult to do. Just take the ellipse tool, make the top one, and then just take the selection tool and option and duplicate one coming below. Take the pen tool and just go and make a rectangle or even partial shape, and then just use the shape builder to select these two pieces and combine them. Depends on how much you want to combine. I'll just grab the bottom part and just option and delete that, and just do arrange. Let's go up to the top so you can see it. Send it to the back, and there you go. Just move the gradient a little bit so you can differentiate between the top and the side of the nail, and just do arrange again. Send that to the back, and now you have your piece. And I have this texture on the side, so I'll just move a copy, move that over there, and just use the eyedrop tool. Here's the texturizer in the appearance panel, so just click on it and add some texture to it, so it takes everything from that gradient over. Do it again, just pop it on there just so you can see it, and then you can go in and modify just one of these pieces. So here's the texturizer, and these are just the effects that you can take a look at, all kinds of things similar to Photoshop. So just lower down some of the effect on the texture part, just to give it a little variation. Or you could just keep it as it was and modify some of the color strokes. And then up at the top, just make that extra flange section out there. Select the two items and use the shape builder to option and duplicate those pieces. And here you can make sure you just have the one piece selected to make a gradient change. That gives that piece, and just so you can see it, here we'll go up to the top effect, and you can add some texture this time, or just try a burlap just to give it a different look to it. So it's just a window inside a window. And you have that piece. Now this section here, you can take a look at the fill. I can change the tone of it. See if I can click on it first. There we go. Gold or another tone. Just to really separate it from that panel. Take off the stroke. And this section you can see has a point to it, so I can go into the stroke and take off that lighter so it's not such a point. And there's that image. So I'll just make a copy of it. Whoops, missed it. There we go. And just rotate it maybe just to give it a little different look to it. And you can put a shadow or a drop shadow, put it up in some area. And again, here's the parameters now. It's separated, the blur, the opacity, and the offset for the XY positioning of it. So just type in 30 just to give it a look to it. You can actually draw that in separately too, just to follow any contours that it might be casting a shadow onto. Here we'll just change the gradient direction of that one. You can see the texture kind of falling in because it is a different type of metal. So you're trying to show some different pieces there, and I'll just take a screenshot. This one is the 3D model, so just to show it to you, taking the pen tool and just doing what they call the profile, which is if you symmetrical objects like this nail cut in half on a vertical axis, and there's the shape, just changing it to a solid color instead of a gradient and no stroke. Just remember that when you try 3D. And then for this little texture, I'll just make a little rounded shape. We're just actually making a square shape, the direct selection tool to change that arc, and just duplicating that down, selecting all of it, locate the pathfinder in union, put all those together, and just swap it so the fill and the stroke. 3D revolve. You can see it just might be too much, but at least it emphasizes the fact. Go into the more options and change the lighting. And this is what they call plastic lighting. Plastic is another term for modeling, older term. And here's the nail as a 3D model. And you can do the same thing. Go into the appearance panel to change it. You'll notice as you move it, it shows the wireframe. I'll change it so you can see the wireframe. That's the mechanics underneath everything that's being shaded. And that gives you a nice section there. Very good.